Има ли перспектива и каква македонската европска приказна? Дали ако се комплетира ратификацијата на договорот од Преспа и на уставните измени, земјава навистина може да се надева на официјално започнување на преговорите за членство со Европската Унија во втората половина од 2019-та. Амбасадорите на Франција и на Холандија, Тимонје и Плом, пред една недела порачаа дека освен прифаќање на договорот од Преспа, ќе треба да има видлив напредок и во реформите. Ова се фокусните точки за интервјуто со шефот на делегацијата на Европската Унија во Скопје, амбасадорот Самуел Жбогар. Добро вечер и добре дојдовте.
Добро вечер, благодарам.
Амбасадоре, во парламентот беше обезбедено двотретинско мнозинство за отворање на процесот на уставни промени, но остана една сенка на тој процес, бидејќи од 8 на опозицијски пратеници што гласаа за, покрај 72 други, најмалку 4 имаат активни обвиненија и против нив се водат судски процеси. Па сега, ова прашање погледнато прво низ призмата на важноста на договорот од Преспа од една страна, но од друга страна низ призмата на важноста и на принципот на владење на правото, принцип на кој што инсистира Европската Унија, предпоставувам создава една помалку непријатна ситуација и за вас како представник на Европската Унија во Македонија?
Well, first I have to say that what we have been repeating so far, that implementation of the Prespa agreement is a step forward toward European future of the country. It's not the only one. Reforms are the second step, but important step forward. And what we are seeing now in the Parliament is democracy in action. The Parliament really became the house of democracy here in Skopje, with all MPs, all parties participating, all contributing with the arguments in a very tolerant debate. So I think it's a positive. I think we evaluate it as a positive development, which was not the case in the past. So the Parliament really established itself as an important institution. We see that many members of the Parliament are accepting the deal, even those who are not happy with the Prespa agreement, are accepting the deal as a reality, as a thing that happened, and are, with the amendments, are trying to improve the implementation of the agreement. They're trying to improve the amendments the constitutional amendments that they need to be done. So I think this is positive, and this gives some optimism also for the future steps on implementation of this agreement.
Како вие го разбирате повикот на премиерот Зоран Заев за помирување и повторно поврзан со гласот на овие сумми на опозицијски пратеници кои што решија да ги поддржат уставните измени?
Yes, you ask about the 8 members of the Parliament. Of course, we don't want to speculate the reasons why somebody voted in favor of the changes or not. Actually, I believe that all 120 members of the Parliament were probably in similar situation. Everybody was struggling internally what decision to make. Which was not an easy decision. It's obvious. It was obvious to everybody. It's not an easy decision to make. To change the constitution of the country, and everybody was struggling internally. And I think they were struggling between changing the constitution as a compromise reached with Greece, which will open the road to the EU and NATO, or to stay where you are and remain isolated without a future for youth. And I'm happy that many MPs, including those 8, decided to vote for the future, while many others didn't feel that way. But I don't think it's fair to speak only about those 8 MPs. I think many MPs were under pressure that day. I think that many MPs were under pressure from the leadership and from the different groups in public how to vote. Do you think that all those who stand during the voting did it out of the free will? So, everybody was under pressure, internal or external, and it was not an easy decision to make, but I'm happy that at the end we got to third majority, or you got to third majority in the Parliament. Now, on reconciliation, I think it's very important initiative. I think it's a great initiative. I remember when I came to this country 2 years ago, the President Ivanov was speaking about national reconciliation, building national consensus on strategic issues. And I think this is precisely what this reconciliation committee needs to do. It needs to bring everybody on board to discuss how to overcome the huge polarization that exists in this country, in politics, but also in public. To discuss about the reforms, how to move faster the reforms, to discuss how to build national consensus on strategic issues, how to implement the agreements with Bulgaria and Greece, to bring people together in a supra-party body, let's say, body that is above the party politics and really focus only on national interest.
Дали за вас би бил прифатлив тој процес на помирување ако тој вклучува и некаков вид на амнестија? Ке потсетам дека во заклучоците од Јунскиот Совет за општи работи на Европската Унија се користи глаголот мора во контекст на настаните од 27 април во смисла на тоа дека од земјата се очекува, односно од неа се бара дека мора да се воспостави правна одговорност за тоа што се случи во парламентот на 27 април. Во таа смисла, дали за вас би било прифатливо некакво ниво на амнестија кое што би било поврзано со овој процес на помирување за кој што зборувате?
We don't answer speculative questions. What if? I think we stay with what is written in the reports, that we ask for accountability, especially those who organized and did some violent acts during the 27th of April. So I think this still stands. But we will follow the debates in the Reconciliation Committee and we'll see what the society, what the country will come forward. But the prosecution and the judicial process should continue.
Ова е случајна разлика која што ја правите меѓу организаторите и оние кои што го сторија насилството во парламентот и другите вклучени во 27 април?
I think that the laws make difference between different type of crimes per se. Without us making a difference. But of course, those who participated and those who organized and did the violent acts. But don't prejudge too much into what I just said. I think it's not up to us, it's up to the parliament, members of the parliament, to find a solution that will not damage the rule of law in the country.
ВМРО ДПМН е остана на ставот да не учествува во овој процес, да биде против овој процес и покрај сите повици кои што стигнаа до партијата од многу страни и од внатре и од надвор од земјата. Имате контакти со Христијан Мицкоски?
We have continuous contacts with all parties and also with ВМРО ДПМН, with all levels of the parties, all kind of structures in the parties. For us, especially members of parliament are important for all the work that they will need to do in implementing the reforms that are important for the European future. And also the role that they play now, they will play in implementing constitutional changes, but also implementing the agreement afterwards.
Деновиве се актуелни неколку случаи поврзани со прислушуваните разговори, случаи на специјалното јавно обвинителство. Еден од нив е правосилната пресуда за поранешниот премиер Никола Груевски во случајот Тенк. Вторе е истрагата под кодно име Империја, нов случај кој што го отвори специјалното јавно обвинителство, се чини најголем досега поврзан со економски и финансиски криминал. Меѓу другото, во јунските заклучоци од Советот на ЕУ, исто така се потсетува на потребата да се воспостави правна одговорност и за прислушуваните разговори. Од ваша перспектива, колку задоволувачки се одвива овој процес? Оти, например, еден од главните предмети, тој што треба да се занимава со прашањето за тоа кој, како, кога, каде прислушувал, некако тапка во место.
I think the Special Prosecutor Office is working well. And I think that lately, especially, I think if we talk about the past year and a half, I think they have they have good cooperation with the courts, and the cases are progressing well. So I think that it's going well. We have sessions, we have decisions of the courts, we have even final decision on one case at the moment. So I think we have results in that area. What we would like to see is the judiciary in general to be more effective. I think that, of course, these high-level cases are important, but for people in the country, there are many other cases, their own cases, where they would want to see effective justice, equal and effective justice. This is not something that can be done by the laws. This is not something that the government or the parliament should impose or instruct the judiciary. It should come from judiciary itself. They should rebuild the trust among people. And I think that the institutions of judiciary, prosecutorial council, judicial council, leaderships of the courts, I think have very responsible role at the moment to try to show the difference, to try to show the change of behavior that I think everybody's eager to see here in the country, but also we would like to see so that we can say that the things have changed or are changing to better.
Индиректно веќе дадовте одговор делумно на она што следно сакам да ве прашам, а тоа е степенот на исполнување на условите поставени од Советот на Европската Унија, врз основа на што земјите членки во јуни ќе решат дали и кога би ја закажале првата меѓувладина конференција, што би требало да значи официјален почеток на пристапните преговори со Република Северна Македонија, веројатно во тој момент ако тоа се случи. Од оваа дистанца, што би рекле, дали има некакво поместување во однос на овие три области? За судството веќе зборувавте.
Yes, there are changes. Especially on the intelligence service, we have OTA in place, functioning, which is, I think, a big step. There are moves to make a decision on the reform of UBK itself. So I think that those reforms are on track and they're looking well. The oversight committees in the parliament also started preparing for their work. They're eager to observe and monitor or oversight the OTA and the new UBK. So that part, I think, is under control. I'll come back to judiciary, where we really would need to see more, because member states last June said deepening of reforms. So in judiciary, we would want to see more. There were certain laws that were adopted. There are a few more laws that are upcoming. But this is, I think it's room for improvement, let's say that way, especially from within the judiciary itself. On public administration, I think lately we are seeing things under control. What we always advised and cautioned is not to make changes if not necessary, of personnel if not necessary, not to make political appointments, but rather to make merit-based and qualified people in positions. Media legislation is one of the things that, of course, we are watching. It was stalled in the parliament or filibustered or whatever you want in the parliament for several years, months, and I think that very soon this will need to move on so that we come to a new media legislation as well. But all in all, we are seeing progress moved. But as you did very bold decisions with the Bulgaria and Greece agreements, I think we are now we are waiting to see those type of bold decisions also in the reform area.
Да, тоа е чувството дека практично многу внимание и енергија се посвети на тие две теми, а дека реформите на некој начин како да заостануваат, иако вие споменувате известно движење и таму. Не ја споменавме антикорупцијската комисија. Државата нема антикорупцијска комисија повеќе месеци. Може ли воопшто да зборуваме за борба, ефикасна борба против корупцијата без постоење на такво тело?
Yes, this is important reform that indeed is pending. I understand the government wants to reform the law to make the Commission more independent, more expert. The law has been prepared, is being prepared. It's now up to the Parliament to process the law, and then we hope to see the new Commission in place as soon as possible, and we hope to see already in spring that the Commission takes up some very serious cases and start dealing with them. I think if they're determined, then we will see that determination. We want to see determination with the new Commission, all that before we can prepare a report for Member States.
Ова кога зборувате на сериозни случаи, мислите на случаи кои што се појавија за време на владењето на актуелната власт, така?
We don't make a difference if it's this government or previous government. Any type of corruption, whenever it happened, by whoever it happened, needs to be investigated. For now, for some time already, nobody is looking at declarations made by politicians of their wealth. So they should start. The Commission should start maybe checking that one as the first.
Да, имаше и случаи во кои што во отсуство на антикорупцијската комисија јавноста, невладините организации беа единствени кои што ги поставуваа прашањата на можен конфликт на интерес, па дури на високи представници на ова власт. Знаете дека многумина во Македонија како да кажем, имаат резерва кон овој процес на европска интеграција на земјава, велејќи дека џабе се прават и уставни промени, џабе реформи, бидејќи ЕУ е соочена со своји внатрешни прашања и колку не сака за членки на Европската Унија. Па во таа смисла подготвена ли е Европската Унија навистина да покаже дека ги сака овие земји од регионот за членки, бидејќи ако комисијата со еден свој стратешки документ сакаше на некој начин да му даде до значење на овој процес, некако во јуни земјите членки како да не го следеа тој духот, тој документ на Европската комисија.
Well, I would recall that Commissioner Hahn just, I think, a few days ago in an interview said that 2025 as the year for EU accepting new members is still a realistic date. So we stay with the strategy and the goals of the strategy. But in the strategy we also said that this will not happen doing business as usual. That we need to see more eagerness for reforms in the region if we are to see 2025 happening. So as I said here, we saw boldness with Bulgaria and Greece. We saw a lot of reforms done so far. I mean, we shouldn't forget to mention that there were several reforms done. There's much more transparency from the government. There's different attitude toward the media. There are several legislation that was put forward. There is an action plan now for the next steps, Plan 18, for the next steps on different areas. So there are things that happen. But since ministers said that they expect deepening of reforms, so I think the next few months we should really focus on demonstrating that there is a change of behavior in the country from what it was before. And as Mogherini, High Representative, always said, if you deliver, we will deliver. Of course, European Union is going through its own discussions, especially now before the elections that will be in May. But I don't think that people should focus on that. People should focus on what should be done here so that you'll be eligible, that you'll be ready for a European Union when we come out of these processes. But I think that's the only way for the country. There's no alternative, there's no other way. And, you know, if you're not ready, then you wouldn't know how the EU would react. So you have to be ready, and then I think that you can expect that the EU will deliver as well.
Благодарам што бевте дел од 360 степени.
Благодарам на вас.